let's talk about the Ravens. So I was at this game on Sunday. The Ravens lost to the Titans in a playoff rematch. The Titans won in overtime. There, here's the thing, man. It's I'm a first tell. I'm a first see what I. I'm a first. All right, how am I going to address this? How am I going to attack it? All right, I'll attack it like this. The reason why I picked the Ravens to make it and ultimately win the Super Bowl this year, before the season started, was I saw the improvement Lamar was making year after year after year. Well, the first 2 years, I saw he's coming back off of MVP, and even last year he didn't really have a lot of weapons like this year, and but he would, this was an offense that we've never, or this was a player that we've never seen, and an offense that we've never seen. The speed in which this offense run, we've never seen. So I was expecting a lot. I was expecting improvement. Their defense got better. You get Calais Campbell, you bring back Marlon Humphreys, you bring back Marcus Peters, you get the rookie. I forgot his name, but the rookie is really good on the defensive side of the ball. I just thought that they would be better. But I thought that they'd be good enough. And a lot of people did too. A lot of people had them going at least to the AFC Championship. Here's the thing that I should have taken into consideration, but I didn't. Two things. One, I didn't expect the league to catch up with the Ravens as fast as they did. Last year, the Ravens looked like one of the fastest teams we've ever seen. This year, they look incredibly slow. And when I say slow, yes, Lamar Jackson still is fast. Yes, Lamar Jackson's still one of the fastest players in the league, but they don't look like the explosive team that we saw last year. They look like, they look like one of the slowest teams in the league. And I didn't expect the league to catch up with them as fast as they did, which I should have expected it, seeing as though it's the NFL. You might have a year of greatness, but you get a whole year of tape now that you should catch up. You're the NFL. But I didn't expect them to catch up as fast. And I didn't expect the Ravens to not really. I didn't expect the Ravens to not improve. Like I expect them to improve more than they did. And yes, you have J.K. Dobbins. Yes, you have a couple good rookies on the defense, but yeah, and I understand that they've been hit with injuries, man. Their offensive line has been hit with injuries. Their defensive line's been. Calais Campbell's been out. You get hit with COVID. A lot of players. Hell, Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins won't be playing on Thursday due to corona or due to positive tests. But I just didn't expect the league to catch up with the Ravens as fast as they did. Another thing that I should have taken into consideration but didn't was the weapons that Lamar Jackson has. Here's the thing about development. Yes, development is very important, but how you develop is a lot more important. When your best wide receiver is Hollywood Brown or Marquise Brown, and Marquise Brown wouldn't be a number 3 receiver on the Seahawks, that's a problem. When your best wide receiver acquisition was Dez Bryant, who hasn't caught a pass before Sunday in 2 years, that is a problem. Yes, I understand that you want Lamar Jackson to develop, and Lamar Jackson has to develop. But it's kind of hard to develop when you don't have a lot of receivers. And your best receiver is Mark Andrews, and he is a tight end. It's kind of what I'm saying is, and a lot of people there, it kind of caught me off guard when Lamar Jackson said maybe 2-3 weeks ago that the defense is calling out their plays. Now, a lot of people took it as, of course, they're calling out their plays, Lamar. Of course, they're calling out their plays. The defense is the NFL. They have tape. course, you scheme, you practice, you understand what the team is going to run. Of course, they're going to know their plays. But I took it as this: if the defense knows your plays, that means you're running the same exact plays from a year ago. And I understand how explosive it was a year ago, but how did it end? It ended with a exit from the playoffs, premature, like a lot sooner than a lot of people thought. Hell, I thought the Ravens were so good last year, they at least were going to make it to the AFC Championship. But when you lose to the Titans, and then now you have teams that you're only seeing once a year calling out your plays, that means you're running the same exact plays from a year ago. Now, I understand teams do that, but when you haven't really improved on the offensive side of the ball as far as wide receivers, why run the same plays if the end result didn't get you to where you want to be? Hell, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs runs, while they do run a lot of plays that they've had, they don't run the same exact plays as last year. And I think this team is in danger. I had the Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year for the preseason. Now they sit at 6-4, and they're in danger of losing or of not even making the playoffs. Not because they're not a good team, but because they've lost big. They lost to the Steelers, they lost to the Titans. And they have to play the Steelers again on Thanksgiving, but you're out Mark Ingram, you're out J.K. Dobbins. And I just don't see this team getting better. Hell, even on Sunday, the Titans punked the Ravens, man. Like, they huddle up on their center field logo. You have the coaches arguing or yelling at the players instead of the players. We got a lot. It should be a lot of times, but the Titans smacked around the Ravens. And the worst part about it was Derrick Henry, the one that, we expect to go off. He was contained in the first half. It wasn't until the second half where he went crazy and ultimately had the game-winning touchdown in overtime. So I just don't see this team. I don't really see, at least this year, this team improving. I don't see them getting better. Yeah, they'll beat a couple teams. After the Steelers, they have a pretty weak schedule, and they still could possibly make the playoffs. I kind of see them maybe at 11-5, because I don't know if they'll beat the Steelers, especially with the injuries and COVID stuff, and not to mention they had to shut down their facility this week. So I can see them losing to the Steelers and maybe going on a run, seeing as that their schedule is weaker. But I don't see this Ravens team. I expected more. I'm sure a lot of people expected more, but I expected more from this Ravens team. And because of that, I don't see them. If they do make the playoffs, which I do see them making the playoffs, it's kind of hard for me to see them winning at least a game, maybe two, in the playoffs. And that's the unfortunate, which that is a lost season. And when I say lost season, no, let me not say lost season, because it's not a lost season. That is a disappointing season, because this team, especially after what we saw last year, a lot of people had them winning the Super Bowl, including myself. To go from winning the Super Bowl, or hopes of winning the Super Bowl, to maybe making the playoffs with majority of the same players, that to me is a disappointing season. And again, a lot of people are going to kill Lamar Jackson, and yes, Lamar Jackson does bear some weight of this, but it's kind of hard to develop, especially in the passing game, when you have wide receivers that wouldn't be number one wide receivers in majority of the league, like in any other team. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they wouldn't even be number one in Washington. Like, they wouldn't even be a lot of the wide receivers that he has. Willie Snead, Marquise Brown, now Dez Bryant. At least Dez Bryant now wouldn't be third wouldn't be the third option on a lot of playoff teams. They wouldn't even be the third option. They probably would be the third option on the Titans. And the thing about the Titans is the Titans defense isn't even that good. Yeah, they had a good run, but their Titans defense isn't even that good, and they pushed them around. So I don't. It's been a disappointing season for the Ravens, and I don't see how they turn it around. At least turn around enough to look like the dominant team that we thought they would be. So, that's the Ravens, man.